Part 66. The Wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 652. If they can have more cooperation in the future, it will be logical for AFEI base to be their introducer. So, Xiaoning, please do him this favor. This is a very important opportunity for Xiaojun MRS, who suddenly looked at Len Ning pleadingly. I try my best, Len Ning said awkwardly. Everyone has said so. I'd be embarrassed if this matter went wrong. Okay, MRS, who saw Len Ning's thoughts and said with a smile. She knew her husband well and knew that there would be no problem if Len Ning opened his mouth, so she stopped putting pressure on Len Ning with words. On the other side, Lei Lei and Hu Aijun went to the yard. Master Lei, do you smoke? Hu Aijun took out a pack of cigarettes from the space ring. Lei Lei glanced at the cigarette in Hu Aijun's hand and said, I won't smoke then, he said calmly. These cigarettes were given to Commander Hu by Len Ning yesterday afternoon. Unexpectedly, Commander Hu actually gave some to his son. He looks weak and like a good student. He also smokes? Hu Aijun put the cigarette back in embarrassment. My dad said that men should go out with cigarettes to socialize. Then he scratched his head in embarrassment, as if he could see the doubt in Lei Lei's eyes. I actually don't smoke then, he said to Lei Ting, obviously afraid that he would misunderstand. At most, he would take 2 fake puffs, suck it into his mouth and spit it out directly. The corners of Lei Lei's lips moved slightly, but he said nothing. Adjutant Qian said that this zombie wave is quite severe, and Uncle Lin may not be able to evacuate. A look of worry flashed across Hu Aijun's face. Thunder said nothing. If the zombie wave really forms, my dad will probably have to go to the battlefield. But I don't have any powers. I can't help at all at this point. Hu Aijun felt a little guilty on his face. Although his father is the commander of AFEI base, his fire ability has only reached the 2nd level peak and has remained unchanged for a long time. Looking at this situation, I am afraid that it is very likely that I will be stuck at the 2nd level peak. The zombies were getting more and more ferocious, and he was worried about him going to the battlefield like this. Lei Lei glanced at Hu Aijun, but still said nothing. It's a pity that we in City E don't have a base as strong as yours. Otherwise, maybe we can build a safe zone at this point. Hu Aijun looked at Lei Lei with admiration. Master Lei, do you still have people in your safe zone? Then he suddenly asked. Lei Lei looked startled. Hu Aijun smiled. We are not natives of E City, and neither are the soldiers in AFEI base. As for the surviving people, if they can move to a safe place, they will definitely be willing to leave. At this point, Lei Lei already understood what Hu Aijun meant. We have helicopters. It's no problem to make a few more trips to transport all the people away. Hu Aijun continued to look at Lei Lei. Does your father know these thoughts of yours? Lei Lei asked, his tone calm and calm. Wanting to join their safe zone, this kid can think of it. They are indeed short of people right now, and this AFEI base is also an extremely rare base with strength and assets. But moving thousands of miles away is not that simple. On the one hand, it is difficult to operate, and on the other hand, the military headquarters of AFEI base may find it difficult to agree. I don't know. But based on what I know about my dad, as long as you can guarantee our legal status after we go to City A, there is a high probability that he will agree. Although their Saring base is well equipped, they still face a huge threat from zombies. If you really could move to a safe place, how could you not want to? His father was not a person with a strong desire for power. What he was doing now was just to protect the base and the people inside. The condition for the major bases in City A to enter the safe zone is that the original base name is cancelled, Lei Lei said. When the leader joins the Thunder military headquarters, the original soldiers will be assigned to his name, and then all ordinary residents will become the Thunder safe zone. Resident. Hu Aijun's eyes lit up. The conditions are very good. If you settle in someone else's territory, it is naturally impossible to retain the original title and build a country within a country on their territory. After moving in, the original armed forces can be retained, and the treatment of ordinary residents will not be affected, which is very ideal. Because the safety zone is still under construction and there is a shortage of people, in other words, if the safety zone is completed, the conditions will be different. Hu Ai-jun's expression froze. Master CLA, I understand he went to the Thunder base to understand the situation first. If it was indeed that good, he would go talk to his father. Instead of staying in City E with everyone worried, it would be better to move to a prosperous and safe place. Lei glanced at Hu Ai-jun and stopped talking. If this kid really goes to the Thunder base in the future, we can arrange something for him to do. But the premise is that AFEI base is really willing to join the safe zone. Not long after Lei stood in the yard, he heard someone calling them to eat. Master Lei, let's go. Let's talk while eating. Hu Ai-jun finally said something to Lei again. Lei just glanced at him and said nothing. Then he walked towards the living room. Hu Ai-jun touched his nose and quickly followed. How could he dare to talk to him at the dinner table if he was so cold? What I said just now was just a casual courtesy. Hey, I really don't know how Hall Master Leng got together with Mr. Lei. It's so cold, aren't you afraid of getting cold? The sumptuous dishes in the restaurant are already on the table. Mrs. Hu arranged for everyone to take their seats. First, he thanked Len Ning for providing the ingredients, and then he couldn't wait to start. It had been almost a year since she had seen such sumptuous dishes. It was thanks to Hall Master Leng that she was able to eat such good food today. I heard from Adjutant Jian that in the afternoon Hall Master Leng gave each of the senior military officials a gift package of ingredients. Her husband also got it. But because he was in a hurry and had to go to command the battle, he even forgot to give the gift bag to Adjutant Jian to bring back. If it weren't for this reason, Hall Master Leng probably wouldn't need to get the ingredients for this meal. But that's fine. Taking this opportunity to thank Hall Master Leng, she talked to her for a while. My son should be able to get some care when he goes to the Thunder base next. And in the future, if my son really wants to get closer to the Thunder base, this is a good start. Hu Ai-jun also ate very happily, and even began to look forward to the fact that after AFEI base cooperates with Thunder base in the future, he can often eat such delicacies. Mrs. Hu continued to chat with Len Ning, and Lei Ting was left aside again. Everyone was enjoying their meal when suddenly Adjutant Jian ran in a hurry. Madam, Master. It's not good, Adjutant Jian ran to the table and said in a panic to Mrs. Hu and Hu Ai-jun. Seeing Lei and Len Ning present, they did not shy away. What's wrong? Mrs. Hu looked unhappy. The wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 653. The zombie wave has formed and has poured into the first line of security. The commander just ordered all residents of AFEI base to hide in air raid shelters. Air raid shelters existed before the apocalypse. After the apocalypse, the military found them valuable, so they repaired and improved the air raid shelters for the residents of the base to take refuge. Once a large-scale zombie wave breaks out in the base, all residents in the base will need to move into air raid shelters. Only when the soldiers outside drove away the zombie tide and ensured that there were no zombies in the base could the residents come out. It has been almost a year since the end of the world, and there have been only 3 times when all residents have moved into air raid shelters. And every time, although the residents in the base were fine, the soldiers suffered heavy casualties. There are too many zombies, and the number of soldiers will not increase. I don't know how long they can last in the apocalypse. Madam, we have to withdraw now. Adjutant Jian's face was serious, and his face was full of anxiety. Mrs. Hu's expression changed slightly, but she forced herself to calm down. Then he stood up and looked at Lei and Len Ning. Master Lei, Hall Master Leng, the situation is urgent. I need you to take refuge in the air raid shelter with everyone else. Xiajun, take Hall Master Leng and Young Master Lei away first before Len Ning and Lei Lei could respond. Mrs. Hu said to Hu Jun again. Mom, what about you? Hu Jun looked anxious. He is weak and has always been the one taken care of. Whenever this happens, he especially hates his body. You go with Hall Master Leng and Young Master Lei first, and I will take the servants at home later. When we get to the air raid shelter, I will come to you as soon as possible. Mrs. Hu looked at Hu Jun firmly, asking him to obey. A flash of struggle flashed in Hu Jun's eyes. Time is urgent. Master Lei, Hall Master Leng, please come with me first. Adjutant Jian interjected. The commander ordered him to come back and settle the people in the city lord's mansion and put them into the air raid shelter. He also wanted to go to the battlefield. He is the commander's adjutant and must stay with him for protection. Hu Jun's eyes hurt, and he finally looked at Len Ning. Just as he was about to speak, Len Ning said, "We can help." Hu Jun looked stunned and wanted to persuade Len Ning, but she heard her say, "I am the 4th level peak of the wood mutation system, and the thunder is the 4th level peak of the thunder system. And before leaving, I stocked up on 200 grenades. 500 guns and 5,000 rounds of ammunition are in the space ring." Len Ning directly showed his trump card to avoid wasting time on explaining. These words directly shocked Mrs. Hu Jun, and Adjutant Jian on the spot. Peak level 4? Both. Thunder type and wood type mutant type? Isn't the wood type an auxiliary type ability? What is the mutant system? No matter what department it is, it just sounds very domineering. There are so many arms. Although they knew from the promotional video that the Thunder base also sold arms, it was too arrogant for just one person to assemble so many arms with him. Don't waste time. Madam, please quickly gather your family members and follow Adjutant Jian to leave, Len Ning said in a deep voice. Mom, do as Hall Master Leng said. Hu Jun quickly came to his senses and then looked at his mother. Mrs. Hu finally regained her sense. After giving Len Ning and Lei Lei a grateful look, Mrs. Hu left in a hurry. Adjutant Jian, take Mr. Lei and Hall Master Leng to see father. Leave this to me. Hu Jun suddenly looked at Adjutant Jian again. Adjutant Jian was shocked. Hu Jun ignored it and looked at Lei Lei and Len Ning. Thank you both for your hard work. After the zombie wave subsides, our family will express our gratitude to you two again. Len Ning's eyes moved slightly and nodded towards Hu Jun. Let's go then. He looked at Adjutant Jian. Adjutant Jian glanced at Hu Jun and saw him nodding towards him before finally turning around. Please then, he said to Lei Ting and Len Ning. In this way, Lei Lei and Len Ning followed Adjutant Jian to the combat command room and found Commander Hu. Commander Hu was just about to leave for the front line when he saw Len Ning and Lei Lei appearing, and he looked at Adjutant Jian angrily. What do you do for food? Didn't I ask you to send Mr. Lei and Hall Master Leng into the air raid shelter? Commander Hu cursed at Adjutant Jian. Adjutant Jian was about to explain, but saw Len Ning had already stepped forward. Commander, don't blame Adjutant Jian. It was Lei Lei and I who asked us to come and help. Seeing Commander Hu's face wrinkled, Len Ning continued, I won't gossip. Lei Lei and I are both peak 4th level superpowers, and we have enough equipment in our hands, so we won't hold you back. Commander Hu and the other officers in the war room were all stunned. What? Commander Hu suspected that he heard wrongly. Peak level 4? 2 more? Thunder and I will go to the battlefield with you, Len Ning said directly. Xiao Ning and I went straight into the zombie wave and it won't affect your arrangements, Lei Lei also said. This Commander Hu hesitated. There is no reason to ask distinguished guests to take risks for them. But if it is really the 4th level of peak strength, it will definitely be of great help. The situation is critical now, and they really need help. The situation is urgent, so please don't be polite to us, Len Ning said in a deep voice. Okay. Come with me, Commander Hu took heart and walked ahead. It's not dark yet, and the situation will get worse the later it gets, so we need to act sooner. He is not a commander who hides behind others. In such a battle, he will definitely go to the front line. Boosting morale is one of them. When necessary, he will take action himself. Len Ning glanced at Lei Lei and nodded at him. The two immediately followed Commander Hu. Arriving at the front line, Commander Hu told the two to be careful before going up to the tower. The person in charge of the checkpoint was worried about opening the door to Lei Lei and Len Ning to prevent them from letting zombies in. Then he saw a huge vine suddenly growing out of Len Ning's hand. Then Thunder jumped up the vines, flew up to the defense tower, and then jumped out. Before he could close his mouth, Len Ning did the same thing as Thunder and climbed up the defensive tower. On the defensive tower, the next thing everyone saw was that a thunderbolt about 20 meters long suddenly appeared, quickly charring a large number of zombies, and cutting a huge crack in the mighty zombie tide. Immediately, a vigorous figure jumped down from the defensive tower, wielding a 10-meter-long electric whip to resist and harvest the tide of zombies that wanted to flood him. In the light of flares and thunder and lightning, everyone saw that wherever the electric whip was swept, the zombies were all charred and fell down one by one. This scene shocked everyone. No one expected that someone would dare to break into the zombie wave alone and fight tens of thousands of zombies by himself. As expected of the fourth-level peak of the Thunder system, Master Lei is hiding his secrets. Commander Hu also saw this scene, and felt his heart surge as he looked at everything in front of him. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Ki Now. Chapter 654. He always felt that guns were easier to use than supernatural powers, and he often argued with Lao Lin about this. At this moment, he admitted that Lao Lin was right. For a powerful psychic like Master Lei, one person can defeat thousands of troops. Commander Hu was sighing with the people around him when suddenly another figure jumped into the safe zone created by Thunder. Then a towering vine rose from the ground, and barbs like steel nails grew out of the vine. Within a moment, all the rows of zombies that wanted to rush past were cut off in half. Immediately afterwards, Len Ning quickly jumped onto the specially built small platform high on the vines, and began to command the vines to wield the death sickle for crazy harvesting. What kind of superpower is this? It's so powerful, Commander Hu asked the person next to him in surprise. There are quite a few superpowers in their base, and they seem to have all kinds of superpowers, but they have never seen this kind of superpower. Hall Master Leng said that her superpower is a mutation of the wood type. I guess it is the result of the mutation of the wood type superpower, the adjutant analyzed. Oh, yes. I heard that some powers can indeed mutate, and the mutated powers are very powerful. It's just rare. I didn't expect Hall Master Leng, a weak girl, to be so capable. Who? The commander looked at Len Ning without blinking. Adjutant Qian looked a little stiff. I'm afraid you are the only one who thinks Hall Master Leng is effeminate and weak. None of them dare to look down upon her. Now that I see her ability, I admire her even more. The gap between the third level and the fourth level is really not that small. It's a pity that Lao Lin is not here, otherwise he should have had a good look at it to see if he still dares to brag that he is the best in the world. Commander Hu followed. That guy Lao Lin knew that he envied him for his strength, so he would talk to him about supernatural powers whenever he had something to do. Now, there is someone who is stronger than him, much better. Let's see if he can still be that good in the future. At the same time, Len Ning urged Xiao Man to change his form, so that in addition to the vines flying around above, spiral blades sprouted directly from the lower part to the waist of the zombie. Then she drove the large meat grinder and walked towards the depths of the zombie wave. Just when everyone thought she was going to fight separately with Lei Lei and kill the zombies together, A towering locust tree suddenly appeared in the sky next to Len Ning. After a while, the locust tree fell to the ground, crushing a large area of the surrounding zombies to death. Then the locust tree quickly took root and stood firm, sprouting dozens of vines, which began to pull zombies and send them into its crown. As long as the captured zombies fell into the canopy of the locust tree, they seemed to disappear out of thin air. There was only one thought in everyone's mind: that tree eats people. Oh no, it's eating zombies. Commander Hu was startled again and couldn't help but pick up the telescope to observe the situation of the locust tree. When I saw that the zombies caught by the locust tree were indeed thrown into the huge gap in the trunk behind the canopy, I felt a little chilled in my heart. This thing actually eats people. Oh no, eat zombies. Well, eating zombies must also eat people. It depends on how its owner controls it. Master Leng's wood mutation ability should be the control of plants, Adjutant Jian said to Commander Hu. Well, this plant is so ferocious, Commander Hu couldn't help but admire. I don't know if it's because he is so fierce in the first place, or because he is controlled by Hall Master Leng, Adjutant Jian said. These two plants appeared out of thin air. I'm afraid their origins are not simple. Commander Hu looked at Len Ning, shocked and admired in his heart. With Hall Master Leng and young Master Lei here, the base will definitely be able to survive this time safely. A smile appeared on Adjutant Jian's face. Yeah, Commander Hu nodded. You pass the order and let Lao Lin continue to guide the evacuation of the zombies. With the help of Hall Master Leng and young Master Lei, he will have enough time to complete the task. Tell him that there is no need to rush, but he must get things done, Commander Hu ordered. With these two masters here, the influx of zombies will not last long. As long as Lao Lin blocks the subsequent flow of zombies, this crisis will be over soon. Yes, Adjutant Jian immediately accepted the order. Then left in a hurry. Commander Hu looked at the two people who were still fighting in the zombie wave with a solemn look on his face, not knowing what he was thinking. On the battlefield, Thunder was vigorously swaying the electricity condensed by his mental power, and bursts of joy surged in his heart. Len Ning was in a similar situation, leading her two little ones to happily harvest a large number of zombie crystal nuclei. An hour later, the two of them clearly felt that the flow of zombies had slowed down. Immediately afterwards, the density of the zombie wave began to decrease at a speed visible to the naked eye. After seeing the soldiers inside the defense line rushing into the defense line, the two of them were basically certain that the zombie wave had come to an end. Thunder killed the zombies within 10 meters and started walking towards Len Ning. Len Ning also took Xiao Huai back, asking Xiaoman to let go of himself and start fighting with the vines in hand. The couple then successfully reunited. Let's go, Lei Lei said in a deep voice, leading the way for Len Ning. Yeah, Len Ning took Xiaoman behind and continued to collect crystal nuclei. Soon, the two men retreated to the defensive line. As soon as they entered the small city gate, the couple saw Commander Hu waiting for them. Thank you for your hard work, both of you. Commander Hu's face was filled with gratitude. Len Ning glanced at Lei Lei. I'm just helping out as much as I can, don't worry, Commander. Then he replied to Commander Hu with a smile. It helped us a lot, Commander Hu said with a smile in his eyes. I have already asked the residents in the air raid shelter to inform the residents to go home. Xiaojun and his mother should have returned to Hu's house by now. I still have things to arrange here, so I'll let Adjutant Jian take you back to Hu's house to rest. Adjutant Jian stood up immediately. Okay, Len Ning nodded. I will discuss the rest of the matter with you two in detail tomorrow morning. Commander Hu looked at Len Ning and Lei Lei with a smile. If he only respected these two distinguished guests before, he respects them now. How can such a strong man be disrespected by others? Before, he thought that the Thunder base could develop so well just because they had a high starting point and were good at management in the early days of the end of the world. But now it seems that the situation may not be that simple. It's just that he doesn't think about these things for the time being. This battle is not over yet, and he still has to make some arrangements for the finishing work. Anyway, they were still in his soaring base, and he still had time to learn more about them. Please, Adjutant Jian quickly led the way. In this way, the couple followed Adjutant Jian back to Hu's house. When the two returned to Hu's house, the people from Hu's house had not returned yet. Len Ning was afraid of causing trouble to Mrs. Hu, so she asked Adjutant Jian to take her and Lei Ting back to their residence. I took a shower and changed into clean clothes. Len Ning saw that it was still early, so he simply took out the projection equipment from the space ring. I prepared some snacks and fruits, and chose a movie to wait for the thunder. The Wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Ki Now. Chapter 655. After Lei came out of the shower, the two of them sat on the sofa and watched a movie. This warm moment is happy and beautiful. After watching the movie, the two fell asleep until the next morning. The two packed up and went out. Adjutant Jian was already waiting outside. Master Lei, Hall Master Len, breakfast is ready. Please follow me. Adjutant Jian respectfully led the way. Len Ning's face was a little stiff and he glanced at Lei. They could find a place to have breakfast, so why should it be so formal? Let's go, Lei Ting said, bending his arm slightly. Len Ning smiled and held his hand. In the living room, as soon as Len Ning and Lei arrived, several people on the sofa stood up. In addition to the Hu family of three, Commander Lin, whom they knew before, was also there. Master Lei, Hall Master Len. Before the three members of the Hu family could speak, Commander Lin spoke first. Then he hurriedly walked towards the two of them. Thanks to you last night, otherwise I, old Lin, would probably have to stay out, Commander Lin said excitedly. Len Ning was confused and looked at Commander Hu suspiciously. Haha, what Lao Lin said is true, Commander Hu walked out from the sofa with a smile. Yesterday, I sent him to evacuate the zombie wave that followed. But this zombie wave came too fiercely. If you hadn't appeared in time and attracted most of the zombie wave, according to his rough operation methods at that time, most of them would have been killed. The zombie stream will indeed be lured away, but it will be enough to eat his team, Commander Hu explained. Yes, yes. I was prepared to die in the line of duty. It was you who saved me and those dozens of soldiers, Commander Lin said gratefully. He is a soldier. Ever since he became the commander of the army, he has always been prepared to sacrifice for a FEI base. The zombie wave yesterday was too strong and could not be evacuated without extraordinary means. He then became ruthless and used hundreds of grenades to carry out large-scale bombings to create noise. It's almost a suicide mission. He was determined to die, but unexpectedly he survived without incident in the end. It was only when he received the second order that he realized that the battle situation had changed. He adjusted the battle strategy in time, successfully completed the mission and returned safely with the soldiers who went out. It would not be an exaggeration to say that Mr. Lei and Hall Master Len were his saviors. We are just trying our best to help, Len Ning said with a smile. After killing for more than an hour, she gained a lot. The crystal nuclei obtained are enough for 2 snacks to last for several days. Hey, Hall Master Len, you are too humble. You are the benefactors of our AFEI base, Commander Hu said. This is 2/3 of the crystal cores obtained from cleaning the battlefield last night. You deserve it. It is also a thank you gift from AFEI base, Commander Hu said and took out a space jade from his space ring. And then walked towards Len Ning and Lei Ting. Len Ning was just about to refuse. Don't refuse, Commander Hu said. Then, he handed the space jade to Len Ning. In addition, our AFEI base will give you another helicopter to express our gratitude, Commander Hu followed. He has already put the helicopter inside. Where is this? Len Ning's eyes were surprised. Take it. You saved our entire base last night? Giving the helicopter to you also expresses our determination to establish diplomatic relations between AFEI base and Thunder base. We will be brother bases from now on, Commander Hu said. Don't look down on us, Saring, Commander Hu said deliberately when Len Ning still didn't reach out to pick him up. Where, Len Ning said quickly. Since it's not that you don't like it, just accept it, Commander Lin followed. Then you're welcome. Len Ning glanced at Commander Hu, and then took the space jade over. Then he received the space jade into his own space ring. Okay, don't stand still. Let's have breakfast first, and let's chat while eating, MRS Hu said with a smile. Yes, listen to my sister-in-law, Commander Lin said immediately. So everyone walked towards the dining table talking and laughing. The breakfast was very rich, and everyone chatted with Len Ning while eating. Hall Master Len, what kind of superpower do you have? The combat power of those two plants is amazing, Commander Lin asked Len Ning curiously. Although he did not see the fighting at the scene, he saw the video recorded by the soldiers. That scene, no movie before the apocalypse could produce such a shocking effect. Commander Hu and Hu Ai-jun also looked at Len Ning. Commander Hu had seen it live. Although Hu Ai-jun also watched the video, he was also shocked by the scene. He had guessed that Mr. Lei was very powerful, after all, his temperament was there. But Hall Master Len, he really didn't expect that she had this ability. He was so envious and admired. At about the same age, there is a huge gap between him and others. It's the mutant power produced by the wood element. They are my wood element spiritual pets, Len Ning explained. I saw them appear and disappear out of thin air. Are they hiding somewhere? And are they following your orders, Commander Hu asked. This power was much stranger than other powers. It was almost like magic. He was really curious. They are indeed following my orders and are now in my sea of consciousness space. Everyone was shocked. Can things be placed in the consciousness sea space? So magical. Are all the superpowers in your Thunder base so strong, Commander Hu asked instead. There was already a look of longing on his face. Commander Lin and Hu Ai-jun also looked at Len Ning. Len Ning smiled, we are the two strongest in the Thunder base. However, there are quite a lot of third level and above superpowers in the base, and there are already 5 or 6 level 4 and above superpowers. The three people's eyes were shocked. Are there many above level 3? Are there 5 or 6 more level 4 and above? What kind of powerful base is this? The total number of third level superpowers in their Saring base is only 5 or 6. Not to mention the 4th level, even the 3rd level peak, there is no one. This gap is simply not a small difference. Dad, please let me follow Uncle Lin to inspect the Thunder base. I want to go, Hu Ai-jun immediately said to his father. Now that he knew this information, he didn't want to miss this opportunity. Thunder base, he must go and see it. Commander Hu's expression froze. Hu Ai-jun immediately looked at Len Ning, with a pleading look in his eyes. MRS Hu also looked at Len Ning and asked her to help her plead with her husband. Well, since Zia-jun has this intention, why not? Len Ning hesitated and finally said to Commander Hu. Commander Hu frowned and glanced at Hu Ai-jun. Hey, let Zia-jun follow us. It only takes more than 3 hours to fly to Sidia from here. He has never been in good health, but he is a big guy after all. How can he not bear this little hardship? Commander Lin followed. The wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 656. Yeah, Hu Ai-jun looked at Commander Hu and nodded repeatedly. Dad, I'm much better now. It's no problem to go to the Thunder base. Commander Hu then looked at Len Ning again, then I'll trouble Hall Master Leng. When Commander Hu relaxed his words, everyone's expressions relaxed. You're welcome. The strongest healing power user in our Thunder base has passed the 4th level. When the time comes, we can arrange to show it to Xiajun. It may help him strengthen his body faster, Len Ning said with a smile. Commander Hu and MRS Hu immediately looked happy. Thank you so much, Hall Master Len, Commander Hu thanked him immediately. If necessary, Hall Master Len, can you let Xiajun stay at your Thunder base for a while? If you can really recuperate his body, you will be a great benefactor to our Hu family, MRS Hu followed. The strongest healing power user in their AFEI base is only at the second level of peak. If the fourth level healing power user can help Xiajun recuperate, her son's physical fitness will definitely return to normal levels soon. Hu Aijun also looked at Lenning in surprise, looking forward to this trip to the Thunder base. Of course. We welcome you, Len Ning said with a smile. After breakfast, Lei and Len Ning visited the AFEI base military headquarters at the invitation of Commander Hu, and met some senior officials of the AFEI military headquarters. In the afternoon, we embarked on the return journey with 4 representatives from AFEI base. Hu Aijun sat on her and Lei Ting's helicopter at Len Ning's invitation. Not long after the helicopter left the ground, Len Ning discovered something was wrong with Hu Aijun's situation. After asking, I found out that Hu Aijun was afraid of heights. Len Ning was helpless when Hu Aijun had already taken out a blindfold. I'm prepared, just put on the blindfold and you'll be fine. Then he quickly put the blindfold on his head. Seeing this scene, Len Ning's displeasure at being concealed just now disappeared. Even though he knew he was afraid of heights, he still had to go to the Thunder base with them, and he still endured not wearing a blindfold for fear of being discovered. This kid worked hard enough. After taking a look at the sweat on Hu Aijun's forehead and his somewhat pale face, Len Ning sighed inwardly and took out a medicine bottle from the space ring. Then he poured out another San Miguel pill from the medicine bottle. Then he took Hu Aijun's hand and put the Sanliki pill into his palm. Hu Aijun was blindfolded and had no idea what Len Ning gave him. But he didn't think much and just put the pill into his mouth. Soon, his body, which had been numb due to being too nervous just now, seemed to be instantly injected with vitality, and the tension in his heart and body was greatly relieved at the same time. Len, Hall Master, what did you give me to eat? Hu Aijun was so surprised that he couldn't help but ask Len Ning. What kind of panacea is this? It's so miraculous. A pill that is a specialty of our Thunder base is also one of the products sold by the Thunder base. When you get to the Thunder base, there will be a dedicated person to explain it to you, Len Ning said. Fortunately, it doesn't take long to get back to the Thunder base. San Miguel pills are there to ensure that he is safe. The goods at your Thunder base are all of good quality, with high quality and low prices, Hu Aijun praised. Such a good thing, I have to ask Uncle Lin to order more when the time comes. Yes, this time they went to the Thunder base not only to inspect the situation, but also to select goods. They have already estimated the value of the 50 helicopters that Thunder base placed an order with. This time Uncle Lin went to Thunder base to select goods of equal value, and after the inspection, he took them back to AFEI base. Then the Thunder base can go to AFEI base to pick up the cargo of 50 helicopters. This deal is equivalent to the Thunder base delivering the goods to them first, and Master Lei and Hall Master Len have shown their sincerity. This is why my father is so relieved about the Thunder base. Haha, you can choose carefully, Len Ning responded with a smile. Definitely, Hu Aijun said immediately. Len Ning knew that he kept talking to him because he was too nervous about flying in a helicopter. It's just that the helicopter is very noisy, so it's really hard to talk like this. So, Len Ning took out a mobile phone from the space ring. Then I plugged in my headphones and clicked on music to play. Then, Hu Aijun put on the headphones with the help of Len Ning. The sound of music suddenly relieved his inner uneasiness. After thanking Len Ning, Hu Aijun stopped dragging Len Ning to talk. I don't know how long it took, but the helicopter finally landed at Thunder base. As soon as Len Ning took care of Hu Aijun and took him off the helicopter, Commander Lin came over with 2 entourage. Master Len, your thunder base is so big, Commander Lin said loudly, with a smile in his tone. When he was in the sky, he took a rough look at the thunder base. The area was larger than he thought. Len Ning smiled and said, "This is Kongtown, where our fifth branch is stationed. This parking lot is next to the vegetable base, so it looks a bit deserted. Since we are already here, would you like to visit our vegetable base first?" Len Ning asked. "Okay. Thank you Hall Master Leng for leading the way," Commander Lin said immediately. "Yeah," Len Ning responded. After giving Hu Aijun another San Miguel pill, he led a few people towards the vegetable base. Along the way, Len Ning and Lei Lei walked in front, and the others followed. "Xiajun, what did Hall Master Leng give you just now? I saw your face turned rosy immediately after eating it, and he seemed to be in better spirits than the two people he brought." Commander Lin asked Hu Aijun curiously. "I don't know what it's called. Hall Master Leng only said it was a pill from their thunder base. He said it was for sale to outsiders," Hu Aijun said. "By the way, Uncle Lin, this pill must be added to the purchase list. The effect is amazing," Hu Aijun seemed to have just remembered, and reminded Commander Lin. "Yes. When I see Leng's contact person, I will ask him carefully," Commander Lin muttered. Hu Aijun nodded. Entering an entrance of the vegetable base, the group quickly saw workers busy in the fields. Some of these workers are sowing, some are digging, and some are harvesting. Soon, the four people at AFEI base discovered several wood-type superpowers who were growing crops. I saw that one of them spawned crops in a field or piece of soil, and in just a few minutes to 10 minutes, a large area of mature crops was spawned. Among them, crops such as bean sprouts are naturally the fastest, followed by some sweet potatoes and potatoes. With such a large scale of production, so many people participate in the labor together. This scene shocked the four people from AFEI base. When he saw someone growing rice, Commander Lin lost his composure. "You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." The wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 657. "That's rice, right? I saw that right," Commander Lin asked Hu Aijun beside him. Hu Aijun looked in the direction where Commander Lin was looking. "It's really rice," he exclaimed. The previous promotional video of the Thunder base actually showed that there were dedicated people in the vegetable base promoting the growth of crops such as rice and wheat. It's just that the video is a video, and it's even more shocking when you watch it live. That speed of birth is so fast. It's strange to say that the Thunder base can sell rice and wheat flour, because they are really mass-produced. "Master Len, can you take us there to take a look?" Commander Lin looked at Len Ning excitedly. Of course, Len Ning agreed happily. So, he led a few people towards the direction of the rice experimental field. Along the way, the workers saw Len Ning and greeted her one after another. Seeing Len Ning getting close to Lei Ting, they soon guessed Ting Ting's identity. The workers all lamented the talent and beauty of the man and expressed their most sincere blessings. Because rice sells very well, a large area here has been divided into a rice experimental field. The person in charge of this area is the wood-type superpower who has the strongest superpower besides me in the vegetable base, Len Ning introduced. While he was talking, the wood superpower saw Len Ning and saluted her from a distance. Len Ning just nodded at him, and he continued to do his own thing. After getting closer, everyone discovered that there were 40 fields in the entire rice area, and workers were busy in almost 3/4 of the fields. Most of them are responsible for harvesting rice, and some are either cleaning rice piles or transplanting rice seedlings. The wood-type superpower is only responsible for one thing, which is to continuously promote the growth of rice seedlings or rice piles until they produce heavy and ripe ears of rice. His speed is really fast. Hundreds of workers cooperate with him alone, but they still can't cooperate. It's too strong. With such productivity, it's no wonder you can sell food to others, Commander Lin exclaimed. The other 3 people in the group also had the same idea in their minds. By the way, Hall Master Len, I saw in the video that you only sell unprocessed rice, Hu Ai-jun suddenly asked. Len Ning nodded, yes. You have also seen that we are short of manpower here and can hardly allocate manpower to process the rice. The space jade is a good thing. There will be no problem in putting fresh rice in it. To save trouble, we simply sell the harvested rice directly. In fact, this is somewhat popular with buyers. After all, the unit price of unprocessed rice is much lower than that of rice. It is more cost-effective for them to take it back and process it themselves. Hu Ai-jun's eyes lit up. With so many people in the Thunder base, no one has proposed to cooperate with the vegetable base in the rice processing business. I feel like this is a good business opportunity. Commander Lin then looked at Len Ning. I thought that Zia-jun had a good mind. No, Len Ning said with a smile. Rice processing is not an easy task. You either need a drying ground or drying equipment. The volume we produce is too large, and an ordinary factory cannot process it. Furthermore, the bases that come to buy goods actually have a lot of surplus labor at home. For them, buying low-priced rice that can be taken back for processing is far better than buying processed high-priced rice, Len Ning explained. Everyone was startled, then nodded. In fact, whether it is rice or rice, the pricing is determined by Leng. It is really a kind act for Hall Master Leng to set such an important material at such a low price. The unit price of rice is so cheap, there are bases willing to buy rice directly, suddenly Hu Ai-jun said. Len Ning was stunned and looked at Hu Ai-jun. The rest of the people also looked at Hu Ai-jun. I heard from my dad before that those bases that can produce arms, oil, and other precious materials are very wealthy. Their living materials basically rely on external purchases, and they have no desire to produce and process them themselves. Hu Ai-jun looked at Commander Lin. Commander Lin was stunned. This is the situation. Anyway, there is space jade, and it is very convenient to purchase and transport it, then he said. Len Ning smiled and said, AFEI is also a base like this. When she and her elder brother went to that restaurant to eat, they discovered that although the food was not good, the price was quite expensive. Hu Ai-jun looked stunned. Hey, the main thing is that your goods are really high quality and cheap, AFEI does count. Apart from manufacturing helicopters, there are no other named industries in their base. It was also because of this that he thought that maybe AFEI could introduce some industries so that the residents in the base could find something to do. Haha, if you think it's good, you can buy more, Len Ning said with a smile. Anyway, the output of the vegetable base is amazing now, and they are picking up the goods themselves. She is eager to sell as much as possible. Of course, Commander Lin immediately said, such good rice, it's really gratifying to see it. The money for 50 helicopters is enough for them to buy a large amount of grain. They can purchase rice freely. The more the better. If they can't use it themselves in the short term, according to Zia-jun, the worst they can do is introduce rice processing equipment, and then sell the rice at a higher price to those wealthy bases. Anyway, they will also need to process rice by then, and rice is cheap, so there is a lot of space for them to operate. By the way, there are other products purchased from the Thunder base, which they can also resell to those wealthy bases. Although this business is destined not to last long, it is still enough for them to earn a lot of money before those bases can contact the Thunder base. How come his brain works so well? Lao Huzai must praise him for his business acumen. Thinking of this, Commander Lin felt that he could buy as much food and supplies as possible this time. Because these things are in short supply right now. Don't worry about not being able to recoup the money for the 50 helicopters. Instead, you can make more than 10 times the money. Yes, more than 10 times is definitely no problem. The more Commander Lin thought about it, the more excited he became. At the same time, he began to regret. He felt that the space jade he had brought with him this time was most likely not enough. All crops spawned by wood-type superpowers can grow to their best condition, and because the spawning process is very short, there will be no pests or the like, so pesticides are avoided. It can be said that our products, they are all natural and pollution-free. They will not be able to reach this level before the end of the world, Len Ning said with a smile. Okay, Commander Lin nodded repeatedly. That's the wheat experimental field over there. Do you want to go and have a look? Len Ning looked forward again. Of course, Commander Lin said immediately. Len Ning smiled and led the way. Seeing the yellow and dry wheat straw and the plump wheat grains on it, Hu Aijun and Commander Lin couldn't help but start thinking about what happened after they bought the wheat back. The wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Ki Now. Chapter 658. Wheat, like rice, can undergo secondary processing. Flour can be obtained by grinding and processing wheat. Flour, like rice, is a refined carbohydrate. This kind of thing not only satisfies hunger but also tastes great. It is the best food. Flour can be used to make glutinous rice balls, pimple soup, noodles, etc. The Chinese have countless ways to make flour into food. What a good thing. Hu Aijun quickly took out a report from his space ring. It was the quotation sheet that Len Ning gave to Zhang Feng at AFEI base. However, what Hu Aijun took was just a photocopy. You not only sell harvested wheat ears but also flour, Hu Aijun said after confirming the quotation. Yeah. Because flour is widely used, we use a lot of it ourselves, so there is a flour mill. At the same time, most of the goods from the flour mill will enter the noodle factory, and the finished noodles will be produced. It is also for this reason that the area of the wheat experimental field is even larger than that of the rice experimental field. That's right, Hu Aijun nodded. It seems that the Thunder base is not completely exempt from the processing industry. Anyway, there is no need for them to rush to make a decision now. It is not too late to visit and record more first, and then discuss it with the military department after returning home. Even if they no longer produce helicopters in the future, they can still find something to do with the Thunder base at their back. Next, Len Ning took the group to visit the fruit test field and some other first-level crop test fields. It was almost noon, and the team at AFEI base discovered that they had not yet been able to clear the vegetable base. It's getting late, why don't you follow me to the staff canteen for a quick meal? After dinner, I will take you to the headquarters of the Leng group. Later, a dedicated person will take you to continue to visit and understand the Thunder base, Len Ning said. Okay. We are very sorry to have delayed Hall Master Leng and Master Lei for so long, Commander Lin said hurriedly. He originally didn't expect that he would stay with them all the time. They were very satisfied to be able to accompany them to visit the vegetable base for a few hours. Commander Lin, you're welcome. I'll treat you at Lin's tonight, and I'll give you and Ziajun a break, Len Ning continued. Commander Lin's eyes lit up. Thank you, Hall Master Leng, he quickly thanked Len Ning. He has also seen the promotional video. Lin's restaurant at the Thunder base was formerly the most famous private restaurant in China before the end of the world. When you enter Lin's, you'll find all the delicacies you can eat. You're welcome, let's go, Len Ning said and continued to lead the way. When they arrived at the employee canteen, a few people at AFEI base discovered that the promotional video they saw was really not an exaggeration. In this Thunder base, even ordinary workers can eat meat. The rice is placed in the hall and you can scoop it out as much as you want. Len Ning asked the cafeteria to prepare some stir-fries and treated the people at AFEI base to a hearty meal. After dinner, Lei took the group to the Leng headquarters next to the 5th branch. Li Feng arrived quickly after receiving the news. Len Ning gave Li Feng repeated instructions before handing over the AFEI base team to him. The reason why she attaches so much importance to it is because AFEI base is indeed different from other bases. Because AFEI base sells helicopters to external parties, those who deal with them are generally large and powerful bases. If Thunder base cooperates with AFEI base, it can sell a large amount of goods to external parties through AFEI base. That's not even the most important thing. The important thing is that those bases that purchase supplies from AFEI base believe that as long as they put in a little effort, they will definitely find their Thunder base soon. Over time, the high-level relationship network owned by AFEI base has also become the relationship network of their Thunder base. Every strength base in this network, in addition to their own demand for the products of the Thunder base, the surrounding bases in their area will also need their products. As long as we seize these bases and establish cooperation with them one after another, the business of the Thunder base will bloom everywhere and start a prairie fire. After Li Feng left with the people from AFEI base, Len Ning breathed a sigh of relief and looked at Lei Lei, who was leisurely drinking tea. I didn't expect that I still couldn't let go of work. Len Ning sighed and walked towards Lei Ting. Then he sat down on Thunder's lap. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Lei Lei immediately hugged Len Ning's waist. Len Ning glanced at Lei Ting and said, I haven't felt relaxed after being away for a few days, and I came back looking for something to do. Then he put his hands around Lei Ting's neck. How about we stay in the base for 2 days and wait until AFEI's people are sent away before setting off? When they went to AFEI, Commander Hu and Commander Lin warmly entertained them. Now that Commander Hu's son and Commander Lin are here, they can't do anything too rude, right? You can arrange for someone to do it for you when you show them around the base, but it would be rude to not show up at all until you see them off. Therefore, we should wait until the people from AFEI leave to arrange the trip to Hea base, a base where space jade can be purchased. Okay, Lei Lei responded with a smile. Will you go to Lin's dinner tonight? Len Ning looked at Lei Lei and continued to ask. Where are you? Where am I? Lei Lei raised the corner of his mouth slightly. Len Ning was slightly surprised. She thought that Lei Lei would definitely go to the military headquarters to do some work when he came back, but she didn't expect. Now she felt a little guilty. He really took a vacation as a vacation, and she was busy with work again without knowing it. Although I am not busy all the time, I am still. How about we go back to accompany our mother in the afternoon and go out to kill zombies tomorrow? Len Ning suggested. She was eager to take some time off before, but now she took a forced vacation to take some time off, but found that she still couldn't get out of it. More importantly, she also found that if she didn't do work-related activities, she didn't know how to arrange them. Okay, Lei Lei agreed with a smile. A look of complete submission. Satisfied, Len Ning leaned forward and gave Lei Ting a smack on his forehead. Lei Lei's eyes changed slightly, and he was ready to counterattack immediately. Giggle. Len Ning had jumped away from him and ran towards the door. Let's go home, he shouted. Lei Lei sighed in his heart and stood up. I really don't know where I learned this bad habit. I often only know how to light a fire and never put it out. Afterwards, the young couple drove directly back home. Lei's mother saw the two people coming back and asked about the AFEI base. Immediately, he asked Lei Lei to invite the guests to stay at home, saying that there were many empty rooms at home. As soon as they left, she felt deserted. Now there are guests coming, so it can be lively. Lei Ting looked at Len Ning, who smiled and agreed. In the evening, Len Ning took Lei's mother and went to Lin's with Lei Ting. When they arrived at the private room, the Lei family realized that Li Feng had arrived with Hu Aijun and Commander Lin. The wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Qi Now. Chapter 659. Master Lei, Hall. Master Len. As soon as Len Ning and his party entered the door, Commander Lin stood up from his seat. Hu Aijun and Li Feng also stood up. They said hello to Lei Ting, Len Ning, and Lei Mu respectively. This is my mother-in-law and my mother. Len Ning introduced to Commander Lin and Hu Aijun with a smile. Hello, Mrs. Lei, Commander Lin immediately greeted Lei's mother. Hello Mrs. Lei, Hu Ai-jun also greeted. Mom, these are Commander Lin from AFEI base and young Master Hu from Commander Hu's family. Len Ning introduced to Lei's mother again. Commander Lin, hello. Lei's mother immediately extended her hand to Commander Lin. Commander Lin quickly shook hands with Lei's mother. Just as Lei's mother was about to say hello to Hu Ai-jun, she heard Hu Ai-jun say, Mrs. Lei, just call me Zia-jun. Lei's mother chuckled and said directly, hello, Zia-jun. I heard Ning Ning say this afternoon that she and Lei need you to take care of her when they are at AFEI base. Lei's mother walked to the main seat and said, don't be formal and be casual. We will have dinner later. Come back to Lei's house with us to stay for a few days. Commander Lin's eyes were stunned and he looked at Hu Ai-jun. Hu Ai-jun was also very surprised like him. Going to live in Lei's eye? Isn't this treatment a little too good? Don't refuse, Zia-jun's body needs to be recuperated. I have contacted the military doctor of our 5th branch. In the past few days, at 9 o'clock every night, a military doctor will come to Lei's house to help you recuperate. A flash of excitement flashed in Hu Ai-jun's eyes. Let's see what the military doctor says first. If you need to be recuperated for a while, you should stay at the Thunder base for a while, and then let Commander Lin go back first. Len Ning continued. Hu Ai-jun's heart moved. This dash, of course he wanted to stay at the Thunder base for a while, because after an inspection in the afternoon, he found that there were simply too many valuable commodities and projects in the Thunder base. Not to mention only 3 short days, even half a month is not enough. Since Hall Master Len is keeping you, you can stay. I'll tell your parents. Commander Lin saw Hu Ai-jun's intentions and said with a smile. Zia-jun is not even in good health and is afraid of heights. With his current physical condition, he would not worry about taking him on a helicopter ride. Besides, it wouldn't be a big deal for him to go back to AFEI base. He might as well stay in Thunder base to recuperate his body. Anyway, Thunder base is safe and has a better living environment than their soaring environment. Hu Ai-jun looked at Len Ning. Stay lame, you said. I like you, kid. It just so happens that Lei and Ning Ning are going out again in 2 days, so the house will be more lively with you. As soon as Lei Mu said these words, everyone looked at Len Ning and Lei. Oh, we haven't had our honeymoon since we got married, so we are on vacation right now, then he explained with a smile. Everyone felt that a lot of dog food had been spread. At the same time, Commander Lin and Hu Ai-jun began to admire Thunder base again. Nowadays, all over China, in bases large and small, the leaders and senior officials are cautious and walking on thin ice, in order to protect the base and themselves in this apocalypse. I'm afraid this is the only one in the Thunder base, but their person in charge and the second most important person can still have their honeymoon, and even take a month off. Thunder base, staying here really doesn't feel like the end of the world. Haha, young man, that's rare, Commander Lin said with a smile, looking at Lei Ting and Len Ning as if he was reminded of his own youth. It's a pity that he has been staying in the army and has little time to spend with his wife. Now in the last days, there is even less time. When the safety of AFEI base is absolutely guaranteed, he will definitely take time to take his family to the Thunder base to rest and play for a few days, so that they can enjoy the fairy-like life here. Zia-jun, please go to Lei Xiao and Hall Master Leng's house for a while. I will come to pick you up in person after a while. Commander Lin looked at Hu Ai-jun again. This time he brought back 50 helicopters worth of goods from the Thunder base. If they only used it for the AFEI base, they might not be able to use it up in a year. But if they were sold to outside bases, they would probably be sold out very quickly. I'm afraid it will be very fast when the time comes to purchase goods. Haha, maybe Zia-jun's body wasn't in good condition at that time. After all, there are so many good things. If those big bases know about it, they will definitely rush to buy it. But it doesn't matter. Anyway, they will cooperate frequently with the Thunder base in the future. Isn't it convenient for Xiajun to return to AFEI? Okay. Thank you, Uncle Lin. Huaijun quickly thanked Commander Lin. What are you thankful for, silly boy? Lei quickly asked everyone to start eating the extremely delicious dishes. Commander Lin and Huaijun felt even more happy about the life in the Thunder base, and the yearning in their hearts became stronger. Len Ning also specially brought out red wine and white wine. Although she couldn't drink much due to Lei Ting's intentional interference, she was still enjoying herself. When I went back to Lei's house in the evening, the military doctor was already here. Len Ning asked Uncle Liang to take Huaijun and the military doctor directly to the guest room, and then asked another servant to lead Commander Lin away. After saying good night to Lei's mother, the young couple went upstairs to their room. After washing up, Len Ning lay in Lei's arms and thought about his experience at AFEI base these days. He felt that his life at the moment was incredibly happy. AFEI base is no less than 1,000 miles away from them, but it only takes a few hours by helicopter. The living conditions in the two places are so different, and they are the one with better living conditions. More importantly, she has also contributed a lot to the Thunder base's current results. She found that she was very happy, a kind of happiness that she could not even imagine in her previous life. He single-handedly founded the fifth branch, founded the Leng group to promote the vegetable base, and even fell in love with Lei and married him. She likes and enjoys the feeling of being powerful, being able to take care of herself and the people she loves, and being respected by others. This sense of accomplishment seemed to allow her to find the value of her own existence, and it was of great value. What are you thinking about? Li Cheng looks like this. Seeing Len Ning grinning from ear to ear, Lei asked with a smile. Len Ning finally came to his senses and said, "Where do you want us to go hunting tomorrow?" Len Ning didn't tell the truth. Tell Lei that she just inflated her ego? How embarrassing that is. Lei glanced at Len Ning, knowing that this was definitely not what Len Ning had in mind. But it didn't break through. "Where did you think of going?" he asked with a chuckle. Ahem. Seeing Lei looking at him as if he had seen through everything, Len Ning's cheeks turned red and he cleared his throat. "There are soldiers regularly clearing out zombies near the safe zone being built, so there is no need for us. With our fighting capabilities, we must go to places with more zombies, the better." Lei looked at Len Ning, waiting for her to continue. "But there's no point in going too far," Len Ning analyzed. "You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." The Wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 660. Although all the zombies in Cydia will be our final target, for now we still have to mainly eliminate the zombies in the southern district of the city. The number of zombies in Cydia is nearly 100 times that of human survivors, and 500 to 600 times that of combat-type superpowers. It is still a long way to clear out all the zombies in Cydia. At present, they have set aside land to build a safety zone in the south of the city, so it is more important to ensure the safety of the south of the city. So, Lei waited for Len Ning to tell him the result. "So let's just move within the southern area of the city. Just try to move along the southern border of the city. After all, there are many more zombies in those places than in the inner areas of the southern part of the city." "Okay. Go to sleep." Lei turned over and pressed Len Ning under him. Looking at the flames that had risen in someone's eyes, Len Ning realized that something was wrong. But it was too late to escape, because Lei had already raised the quilt, covering both of them. The next day, when Len Ning and Lei packed up and went out, they realized that Commander Lin and Huaijun had left. They said they didn't want to waste time. They made an appointment with Xiao Li yesterday. Xiao Li came to pick them up early in the morning, Lei's mother said to the two of them. "Yes. Commander Lin will only stay at Thunder Base for 3 days, and today is the second day. Len Ning said with a smile, we have so many good things in Thunder Base, he may be spoiled for choice. I think he is indeed very busy, but not just picking goods. Xiao Li said that several hall masters heard about his coming to our base and wanted to see him. Lei's mother followed. Len Ning was slightly startled, then raised the corners of his lips. They have been coveting helicopters for a long time. It's strange that they can hold back now that they have this opportunity. I'm afraid AFEI base will not just sell us 50 helicopters now, Len Ning muttered. The respective industries of each hall owner are developing very well. Relying on Leng's group, the goods they produce are listed on Leng's product list and are exported, making a lot of money. Although helicopters are expensive, it is not difficult for each of them to buy one or two. Let them figure it out on their own, Lei suddenly said. It is a good thing for other hall leaders to independently purchase helicopters. On the one hand, it facilitates their own business or to carry out tasks. It also increases their arms reserves. In case of emergency, these helicopters may come in handy. That's right. On the one hand, they are bypassing the Leng family and going to AFEI base to buy helicopters. In the future, they also want to cooperate directly with AFEI base, which also saves the Leng family from taking their profits in the middle. Len Ning brushed it off. Pout. Lei's eyes looked a little embarrassed for a moment. I'll call them then, he said. Okay. Len Ning stopped Lei Ting with a smile on his face. Everyone has come to the Thunder base. How can we prevent them from contacting us privately? Leng's business is not inferior to them in this regard. Len Ning walked toward the dining table with satisfaction. Banning this kind of thing may not necessarily be effective. Even if the hall leaders are obedient and don't do it, what about the people below? Besides, forceful interference may be counterproductive and cause dissatisfaction in various halls. The eldest brother is already partial to her and the fifth branch. It would be inappropriate for him to continue to be so partial and even prevent the branches from developing outward. They are still welcome to enter the Leng's product list. For the rest, they can contact the buyers themselves and I don't bother to interfere. Although all of the 6 branches are developing well, only my 5th branch stands out, and I'm not very embarrassed. Lei looked at Lei Mu. Excuse me? Why didn't he see it? It's obvious that the tail is about to rise to the sky. Lei's mother laughed out loud, ignored her son, and walked towards the dining table. They will also have helicopters in the future. If they want to open up the market for business, I won't object. By then, maybe Leng's goods can be sold through them. Len Ning had already sat down at the dining table. This statement is not an exaggeration, and is even very likely. Although China is experiencing the end of the world, the total population that has survived is still quite large. If there are people, there will be demand, and if there is demand, there will be a market. The Leng family can go outside to develop markets, and the major branches can also go there. Once a market comes out, it can drive a lot of business. When the market is large enough, the actions of the major branch offices will not only not harm Leng's interests, but will actually drive Leng's product consumption. After all, where there is business, there is information gap, and where there is information gap, there is profit. Just like the current AFEI base. Commander Lin purchased cheap goods from them, and then resold them to outside customers at a higher price. Before external customers discovered their Thunder base supplier, they could only cooperate with AFEI base. But once they find the Thunder base and find that the price of purchasing goods can be cheaper, they will definitely switch to cooperate with the manufacturer of the Thunder base. In addition to their own products, each major branch's external trade with Leng's products listed on their product catalogs is actually equivalent to the current AFEI base and Thunder base. At the same time, for the Leng family, the commodity trade in the major branches is the same as that in the AFEI base. Leng's original goal was to be a factory, and a very large factory at that. All goods have tiered prices, with a minimum order of 1 ton, 1 to 10 tons, and 50 second-order crystal cores per ton. From 10 tons to 50 tons, there are 48 second-order crystal nuclei per ton, and from 50 tons to 100 tons, there are 47 second-order crystal nuclei per ton. Each ton above 100 tons is calculated as 45 crystals. Relying on the factory of Lengs, a strong base can act as a large distributor. Because of the information gap and price gap, some less powerful bases can act as small dealers for large dealers. It eliminates the need to deal with many small dealers and directly supplies large dealers and mid-level dealers. The factory only needs to do its best to catch up with orders. This is the most worry-free and the most profitable. Of course, Lengs is not a completely simple factory, it also has the attributes of a large dealer. This is mainly reflected in Lengs' preparations to invest in key bases in some cities. This is for long-term planning. Because in the middle and late stages of the apocalypse, as superpowers gradually become stronger, wood superpowers with strength exceeding the 4th level will slowly appear in various places. At that time, Lengs' current best-selling food crops will begin to become unsaleable or even become unsaleable. It is very meaningful to pay attention to market changes at any time and find suitable opportunities to transform or even become a large distributor of other factories. Only in this way can the Leng family become bigger and bigger and become invincible. Now Leng has such a good opportunity to take the lead in laying out plans. As long as the direction is good, the future is promising. You have a good vision, Lei praised Len Ning. Haha, step by step, we have come to today. Listening to their analysis and reports in meetings with me, it doesn't matter if you don't have a high vision, Len Ning responded with a smile. The wood-type superpower who is reborn in the apocalypse. Author, Kiji Now. Chapter 661. You are more suitable to manage the company than me, Lei continued to praise. In fact, it's not a compliment. Because his wife did a very good job, even quite well. Although Leng's development is largely attributed to the vegetable base's unique resource advantages, the vision and judgment of decision makers are also extremely important. Looking back at every step of Leng's journey, every decision Xiaoning made was correct, and the people he used proved to be capable. If it were him who did this, he wouldn't necessarily do any better than Xiaoning. He admitted from the bottom of his heart that his wife was very talented in business, and could even be said to be a genius. Haha, I think so too. Len Ning felt that he was very sincere. Speak the truth. Eat, eat, Lei's mother urged. The family started to move. After breakfast, Len Ning and Lei set off to the safe area. After only a few days out, Len Ning saw from the passenger seat that the safety zone had changed a lot. Many more buildings have been renovated and repaired than before, and the streets and pavements that looked messy before have become clean and tidy. There are more people walking and doing business in the safety zone than before. Especially the area where the 6th branch garrison was stationed seemed to be much more lively than before. Sure enough, population is the foundation of development. Have the remaining bases in Citya determined the time to move into the safe zone? Len Ning asked Lei with a smile. She couldn't help but feel a little happy when she thought that the safe zone would soon become lively. It's only been a few days, Lei said while driving. They are very anxious, saying that even if the area is not developed that much yet, they will move in first if they squeeze in. Considering the lack of manpower for the construction of the safe zone, the military department approved it after discussion. They know they are anxious now. Len Ning raised the corners of his mouth. They have eyes. Lei gave Len Ning a rare smile. Forget it, for the sake of being from City A, I'm giving them an advantage. Len Ning glanced at Lei with a smile. After the communication is restored, I'm afraid countless people will want to flock to our safe zone. After the honeymoon is over, we can have the military department hold a meeting to think about the subsequent access conditions. I'm afraid I can make a lot of money just by selling my account. Len Ning was in high spirits, with coin symbols popping out of his eyes. Okay, Lei responded with a smile. The two of them were talking, and the car quickly arrived at the border of the city center. Then the two got out of the car and started today's hunting. SpecialAbilities is an automatic killing machine, so Len Ning naturally prioritizes it. In order to attract enough guests to it, it is also equipped with a stereo as standard. After arranging SpecialAbilities, Len Ning set off with Xiaoman and Lei Ting. Since they had a whole day to hunt today, the two were in no hurry to carry out a large-scale massacre. Instead, he kills several of them, which consumes very little mental energy. Because the mental power used is too small, the new mental power emerging from the sea of consciousness is enough to offset the loss, so if they want to keep using this trick, theoretically, they can use it forever. Don't think that the mental loss is small, and such a move has no lethality. Because the two people's superpower levels are high enough, even such a normal attack is enough to deal with almost all zombies that want to get close to them. In particular, most of the current zombies are only at the second level, and there are very few zombies that have reached the third level. As for those above level 4, they have not encountered them yet. It is as easy for a 4th level peak superpower user to deal with second level zombies as it is for a hero to kill a minion. The two of them walk together, chatting and killing at the same time, dealing with it completely easily. Lei Lei is responsible for the majority, and Len Ning is responsible for the minority. Because Xiaoman not only wants to get the crystal nuclei of the zombies it killed, but also the crystal nuclei of the zombies killed by thunder. If everyone is as efficient as us, these zombies in Cydia will probably be gone soon. Len Ning glanced at the small bucket filled with crystal nuclei in his hand and sighed. As long as nothing happens to the survivor base, the number of zombies will be limited. Sooner or later, Cydia will become a pure land. Len Ning nodded. Lower level zombies are much less destructive. If it weren't for the lack of manpower in the construction of the safe zone, I really want to bring my brothers out to kill these things every day. Once they level up and become stronger, they won't be that easy to deal with. On the one hand, it is difficult to kill, and on the other hand, if a zombie wave breaks out at the border of the safe zone, the buildings on the border defense line will be more easily destroyed. An elite team has been arranged to purify the zombies in the southern area of the city. There are 10 people in each of the 6 branches. Don't you know about this? I know. The 60 people are divided into 2 groups, and the 2 groups take turns. Each person is required to have at least 100 zombies, and the total group size is at least 1,200 zombies. There are 3 groups of people hunting zombies every day, with a minimum of 1,000 zombies. Kill 3,600 zombies. Their 5th branch also had people. She asked Zhou Tao and Yuan Xing to transfer them from their own branches, and each branch sent 5 people. These 5 people can also be replaced at any time. According to their feedback, the brothers from the 5th branch who went to participate in this activity completed the task every time, and almost completed it much beyond the limit. 10 of their people can kill nearly 2,000 zombies in one day. Although the people in the other branches were not as efficient as their 5th branch, they all completed their tasks. According to previous data, this assembled team killed around 5,000 zombies in a single day. It seems that this team has been formed for about 10 days. If it is 10 days, it means that they have killed 50,000 zombies. The amount that each person does every day may not be eye-catching, but when accumulated over time, it turns out to be quite impressive. 50,000 zombies, if they were all alive and moving together, would be enough to form a huge zombie wave. We have more than 10 masters in the 5th branch. We can give us 50 more places, Len Ning said directly. Even if each master only hunts 100 zombies a day, 50 would be 5,000. In 10 days, their 5th branch alone could kill 50,000 zombies. The population of Cydia before the end of the world was less than 10 million. At this intensity, zombies would not be rampant for long. The more he calculated, the more excited Len Ning became. I know you have many masters in the 5th branch. But the base needs people everywhere, and high-level superpower users especially have to play a big role. Recruiting the 30 strongest masters every day is already the limit. Besides, the main purpose of doing this is to ensure the smooth construction of the safe zone and to control and reduce the number of external zombies entering the southern district. There are many zombies in the southern district itself, plus there are also zombies pouring in from the 3 adjacent districts. If you don't consume it, I'm afraid there will be a tide of zombies gathering near the safe area sooner or later. The current safe zone is not strong enough, and they cannot withstand even a zombie wave. Also, efficiency is higher when there are fewer people. If more people are added, the increase in the total number of zombies hunted by the team in a single day will not be directly proportional to the increase in the number of people.